Hi wrestling fans, thanks for clicking on the dreaded D-Rose report. The Wrestling Observer newsletter. If you can't afford to get the newsletter, if you think it's too much or you can't afford it, this is what you're stuck with. Save up your Coke bottle money. Anyway, the Wrestling Observer newsletter says the best-selling WWE DVD of 2009 ended up being WrestleMania with 248,000 units shipped. Rise and Fall of ECW with 172,000 shipped, and the best of Saturday Night Main Event, 133,000 shipped. Greatest Superstars of the 90s, 118,000 units shipped. WWE website had 13 million viewers for the month of December 09, up from 12.1 million in November. WWE's Music Volume 10 CD dropped from 94 to 167 on the chart this week with around, I think it's sold around 3,000 units. Here's a kind of interesting stat. Mae Young's appearance on Raw this week may have been the first person in pro wrestling history to have performed in some way in 9 different decades since their first match way back in 1939. I was kind of hoping her and I like Mae Young. Anyway, TNA is indeed sending one half of the TNA Tag Champions Hernandez to AAA promotion in Mexico, at least for a few appearances. Jeff Hardy was recently contacted by International Pro Wrestling Promotion about working for them. He said due to his indictment, he's not allowed to leave the country until after trial in March. Told that he would not be wrestling until his trial was over. And when the trial ended, he would be going to TNA full time. Even though WWE, or rather, let me get that back again. Even though TNA's knockout division has been proven a ratings draw, the idea with the new company is to have less women matches on TV, most of the women being featured in segments, especially with the beautiful people. The feeling is that when they put the beautiful people in the ring, it isn't very good at all. Somebody must be gay. Let those women wrestle. If it's a draw, it's a draw. You can't. Why would you want to stop something like that? All right. Put me in charge then. You got some silly people calling the shots around there. There's still no official cause for the death of Edward Umaga Fatu, because the toxicology reports still haven't came in. Boy, they're as slow as, they might as well time them with the calendar. I don't know why toxicology is so slow on doing anything. The sure ain't on CSI. They find out in a minute what's going on. Christian's ECW title defense on this week's final episode of ECW was the 65th defense of the belt, the most in history of ECW, dating back to the beginning. Taz defended the EC title 61 times in 8-month reign back in '99. It's said that Scott Steiner wasn't offered a new contract with TNA because the company felt bringing in Ric Flair was worth more to them than bringing the bad blood that they've had in the past with Flair and Steiner. It wouldn't work out, they don't think. As noted before, Karen Angle, she was backstage. As in the recent TNA tapings, Kurt and Jeff aren't on that bad of terms right now. Apparently, Jarrett has gone to bat for Kurt regarding Kurt getting more time and visitation with his children. Kurt has told friends that he's considering moving to Nashville to be closer to his kids. There's a plan that in place that in 2009 to do a Jarrett versus Angle feud on a TV basis anyway. In fact, that Jeff and Karen are dating in real life, but it was nixed. That would draw too much of attention, and too much people would be watching. We don't want to see that. Anyways, noted before, Vader's son Jesse White will make his pro wrestling debut for Vader Time promotion in Japan, April 29th. White will be teaming with his father and former WWE star Too Cold Scorpio to take on Tatsumi Fujinami, I guess, and 2 other partners. I'm glad they didn't put their names out there. I couldn't pronounce them either. Anyway, Honky Tonk Man's website posted yesterday that he's been signed a new contract with WWE and Mattel Presumably, this is for the HTM action figure from Mattel Toy Line. In addition to Jerry Springer and Bob Barker and other Raw hosts that have gotten superstar reaction, backstage, including Ozzy and Jeremy Piven, while he got over better than virtually every other host with the live segment, Shaquille O'Neal did not inspire the starstruck reaction backstage due to his more frequent presence, I guess, backstage at WWE events. He likes to go back there and horse around. I would too. Sources within WWE say that the backstage power struggle currently is going on between Dusty Rhodes and Steve Kearns. I think that's mainly down south, probably. F4W Online this week, in this week's edition of WWE Raw, scored a 3.4 cable rating, while down from the past several weeks. The decline can, at least on the surface, be attributed to the heavy competition at the Winter Olympics. Anyway, among adults 18 to 49, Raw dipped in 1.85 rating, off the hours of 1.8 and 1.9. The show averaged about awful close to 5 million people, 4.9 million. In an interview with WWE Magazine special, the 2010 magazine, anyway, WrestleMania 26 Almanac, the WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin said he still has no interest in fighting Hulk Hogan at all, despite WWE's repeated attempts to make a match happen in the past few WrestleManias. And he said, after I retired for 2 or 3 years, they asked me, do you want to wrestle Hogan this year? Do you want to wrestle Hogan this year? He said, the answer is no, I don't. I don't care to wrestle Hogan. I don't think it would live up to the fans' expectations. I don't either. Steve Austin says his match with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson at WrestleMania 19 in 2003 was his retirement match, in his opinion. Austin isn't looking for any last rematch or anything, because he doesn't think it would be good to put good as what the past classics are. That was my last match. He said, I'm not looking for a rematch. I don't think it'd be good. We've done before because we've both been out of the ring too long. I think he's talking about The Rock on this. Could it be done? Of course, but there's no use in talking about it, and definitely don't have any interest in delivering anything that would be second best to what I've done before. When asked his favorite WrestleMania match, Austin says WrestleMania 17 main event match with The Rock, admits that he turned heel and aligned himself with Mr. McMahon that night was a bad idea looking back on it. But this is kind of funny. Austin said, looking back, he said, it wasn't the best thing I ever did, Austin says. Now, if I could go back as soon as the match ended, when Vince walked up to me, I would have shaken his hand and said, watch the stunner, and drop him right there in the middle of the ring. And that's all hindsight, though, 2020. Normally, hindsight is 2020. All right. I told you the ratings. Just to let you know about the 4 wrestling factions that's going on all this year. The first week of January, Raw did a 3.6, and last week it did a 3.59, which was only like 0.01 off from the first of the year. This last week, of course, it could be due to the Olympics. It was 3.4, but anyway, so they've pretty much stayed even. ECW was at the first week of this year was 0.9, and last week so far, I haven't gotten this week's, is 1.30, so it went up. Superstars was a 0.8 first week of the year, and now it's the last week was 1.02, so it's went up. SmackDown was 1.8 first week of the year. Now it's last week was a 2.1, so it's went up. In fact, it's went up more than any of them. TNA, first week of the year was a 1.45, which was the live episode going against Raw. The week after that, they did a 1.26, was on a Thursday. And then this last week, they did a 1.19. So they went down. In fact, they went down more than SmackDown's went up. You tell me the answer. 'Cause I got to go. And leave your comments. It was good or bad. What should TNA do? See ya.